Israeli situation, there's an abundance of information, and what we don't need is some kind of early warning mechanism there. What we need is a willingness to actually put something on the line in service of helping the situation. And putting something on the line might mean alienating a domestic constituency of tremendous political and financial import. It may more crucially mean sacrificing or investing, I think more than sacrificing, literally billions of dollars not in servicing Israelis military, but actually in investing in the new state of Palestine.
Okay, I'm waving around a piece of paper for a very good reason. Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show, ladies and gentlemen. Who is that? Who is that person making these radical, ridiculous assertions back in 2002? Well, that would be Samantha Power. Samantha Power is who President Barack Obama has nominated. If you're looking for the number, I got it. All right. Samantha Power is the person that Barack Obama nominated today to succeed Susan Rice as the ambassador to the United Nations, because he's elevated Susan Rice to National Security Advisor. And there it goes, right off the table. Woo! Well, if you could see what goes on here, folks, you would be amazed, shocked and amazed. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you don't know about Miss Power, and I do want to play some more of these sound bites for you. But Samantha Power has been one of Obama's closest advisors on foreign policy, and her whole thing is human rights, which sounds wonderful. Hey, human rights, but human rights to the point of direct intervention by the United States every single time they perceive that someone is being ill-treated, which would have this country all over the world, including in Israel. And I said in Israel because Ms. Power doesn't like and never has liked, neither does Obama, the way the Israelis treat the Palestinians. I'm talking about she was responsible for the intervention in Libya, many believe, or recommending it and having it followed through on. She wants direct intervention in Syria. She wants direct intervention everywhere and anywhere. Joining us now to talk about this and more is Ron Christie, who, of course, was an advisor to George W. Bush in the Bush administration and is also founder of Christie Strategies, so we haven't had him on in a while. Hey, Ron, how are you?
It's good to talk to you. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you. Good to talk to you. Sorry we got you on a couple of minutes late, but I just played a cut of Samantha Power. And, of course, let's talk about what Barack Obama did today. Even James Carville, I call this president and have for years the in-your-face president. He doesn't care. He couldn't care less. He'll appoint who he wants to appoint, whether they're admitted communists or whatever their baggage is. He'll put a defense secretary in who despises the state of Israel, in my opinion. He'll put a secretary of state in who has trashed the troops from Vietnam right up into Iraq. He doesn't care. It's who he is. It's in your face. Well, today, James Carville said that the appointment of Susan Rice is an in-your-face appointment, and then he picks Samantha Power, who is a radical leftist when it comes to foreign policy, in my opinion, again, despises Israel, an interventionist, wants us everywhere that anybody is perceived to be mistreated. He picks her to succeed, or nominates her to succeed Rice. In your face, in your face.
In your face, but most importantly, not in the best interest of the United States. This president has shown time and time again his willingness to flout the rule of law, his willingness to, frankly, stab our allies in the back, his willingness to say, it's my way, the highway. And these two appointments only underscore that the president is more interested in his left-wing ideological bent than he is in trying to repair relations with some of our allies, Israel in particular, that he has strained, trying to, frankly, impose a far-wing, left-wing ideology down the throats of the American people that I think people are sick and tired of.
You know, I could not agree with you more. But do you think that they can't do anything about Rice, but do you think that Power will have trouble getting confirmed?
I do. I mean, her let's invade Israel stance articulated years ago is going to come back to haunt her. I think that there are a number of senators, Republicans and Democrats, who look at this appointment and say, is Samantha Power the most qualified person to be the United States ambassador to the United Nations? And in my view, the answer to that is no. And the American people deserve to have the opportunity to hear about her background, to hear about her controversial statements, and I think ultimately judge for themselves that this woman is not up to the task, just like her immediate predecessor.
All right, let's talk about your what is it? Your brother, your cousin, your relative, Chris Christie. No relation, folks. Anyway, Chris Christie yesterday. You know, I don't even know what to say anymore. Nothing he does surprises me. I'm extremely disappointed in him, have been for quite some time, a number of years now. And what he did yesterday was twofold, I believe, by having a special election. He did it for a selfish reason. Number one was to have it in October, not in November, so there wouldn't be any Cory Booker on the ballot in November to revitalize and energize the Democratic ticket and his opponent in the gubernatorial race. And number two, he denied the Republicans a chance to have a senator in there for the next year and a half, claiming that that's what Frank Lautenberg would have wanted. But he did it because he wants to be viewed by the world as fair and likable. And to me, Ron, and you tell me, it's only going to further hurt his chances of ever winning a Republican primary because Republican voters who come out and vote don't like what he's doing.
No, they don't. And I tell you, Chris Christie has to be the most shameless, self-opportunistic Republican politician in the United States. Not only is he going to waste $12 to $25 million of the taxpayers' dollars to have this special election, but as you accurately pointed out, this is all about his own political self-interest. He doesn't want to be on the ballot with Cory Booker. Cory Booker, a gentleman who I actually have a good personal relationship with, is very popular and would drain votes from Chris Christie. But if he thinks for a second that the denial of a Republican candidate to have gone in there, to have been a senator for a year, 14 months, what have you, and established a track record to then run for that seat on their own, as opposed to this shameless political ploy to appoint a caretaker and then have the election this year, is going to so irritate the Republicans and the conservatives, those of us who are going to come out and vote in the presidential election cycle in 2016, Chris Christie doesn't have a prayer of getting through Iowa or New Hampshire.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I'm so glad to hear you describe him in such accurate terms because sometimes I feel like I'm the only one, especially when I run up against Republicans who say, oh, no, you know, he's good. He'd be great for the party and he's going to do great. I mean, this self-centered selfishness was evident when he spoke back at the Ronald Reagan Library and then when he spoke as a keynote at the Republican convention. Me, I. And in both instances, you know, what he did, Ron, he lumped Congress as ineffective and broken together, like it was the whole Congress's fault, never pinning blame on the Democrats specifically or separating them from the Republicans. It was just the ineffective Congress. So I just think he's totally self-serving.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. And I think while that might do his fortunes well in New Jersey, where he, I believe, took a lot of the momentum away from Governor Mitt Romney when he was running for the president last year to hug and cozy up with President Obama, this is not going to translate outside of the boundaries of the Garden State. I think many conservatives and Republicans around this country recognize Chris Christie is only in it for him, me, myself, and I, and I'm just frankly sick of it. I mean, what he did to this party and what he did for the opportunity for a Republican candidate to have actually held that seat and run and legitimately won that seat, I think is a disgrace.
I could see the headline on Newsmax right now, Christie blasts Christie. Hey, listen, Ron, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.